we're gonna start taking this apart a little bit more. Let's get out from under. Let's get out from under the car. I want to show these people. Hey, what do you? Stop! Stop!
Welcome to the shop. I'm Jared, and this is Wrench Every Day. Behind me, we have Tavarish, a special guest. He's a up-and-comer, kind of new shot on YouTube. You guys should check out his channel, Tavarish. It's small, but growing quickly. Yeah?
What just happened?
Everyone says this is my channel now, so...
Okay, well,
but we are...
I feel incredibly welcome. Hello, everyone. I'm a guest, apparently, here.
In your own shop.
In my own shop with my own car. This is a 1990 Lotus Esprit Turbo SE, or SE Turbo. I don't know what the nomenclature is.
It depends on the year. They fall on different spots.
Right. So this one is perfect. It's a perfect example of what this car can be. I bought it for next to nothing for this car. Still was kind of expensive. But today we are going to be looking at everything wrong with this car, and there's a lot wrong. This might be a long video.
So are we going to go over bodywork as wrong, bodywork and paint, or should we just say yes when it comes to bodywork and paint?
I want to pay a little bit of attention to the bodywork because the bodywork in this is very interesting in that the previous owner tried to do some of it himself, or maybe went to a shop that didn't know how bodywork works.
Because how does fiberglass work?
This is not fiber. This looks like paper mache. Like, this is actually, like, look at this.
Yeah, it almost looks like drywall patches.
Yeah, it looks like drywall patches, which is not what you want in a exotic supercar.
Yeah, or
anything, or any car, really. So we have a windshield that is cracked in many, many places. Now, I don't know if Safelite can fix all of this, but we're definitely going to give them a call, and we're gonna see how much this baby takes to fix. Honestly, I think this is probably going to be... I'm going to jinx myself here, but it might be easy because it's just a flat plane of glass.
Yeah, it's a flat trapezoid.
Yeah,
and
there is no curve to it whatsoever, and...
Let's see if we can capture just how absurd. It's ready for some speed record attempts. It's that flat.
Yeah.
I mean,
so in the 80s, actually, when this car was developed in the 60s and 70s, it was very common for cars to have just flat glass. The Countach had it, and people don't realize that it's super, super easy because they didn't make a lot of these cars. And when you don't make a lot of cars, then it's easier just to make glass like this.
Have a flat plane. It needs a new wiper blade.
Oh, no, return the car. Just return it. It needs new wiper blades. You save money on the wiper blades, though. You only need one.
So this was our original color. This was
that's
the
last modified
episode.
color.
Yeah,
yes.
That's the aftermarket painted that we were removing with duct tape.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to show the highly technical way? So this is the roof off Targa insert. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to show it.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about what's wrong. So before we go to the interior, let's do the very complex installation process.
So this is a Targa top. It's actually a combination top. So it has a hard top, and it also has a sunroof made of glass. And if you take off the roof, and theoretically you can put the roof back there in the trunk, it is made to fit back there. Then you need a way for the wind not to hit your face, or not to hit your hair, or not to hit the balding head of hair that you probably have because people who drive this cars, they're probably old. When this car was new, it had this. And the only thing attaching this to the car, even when you're driving it at speed, is this little Velcro strap. Literally just pulls right out, and you pop it back in. You pop it back. You pop it back, and then you put the strap in, and you're off to the races. And hopefully this doesn't fly off.
It's leather and Velcro. What's going to go wrong with that?
Yeah, this car's not fast. So if we look on the interior, that is
some very high quality leather.
Oh boy, it does not smell great, but I think that this interior can be brought back to life if every single thing is recovered.
The dashboard, we need a new coat of varnish on our wood.
I think, you know what? I think that's probably going to be carbon fiber. I want that to be carbon fiber.
I know you really want it to be carbon fiber, but I kind of like the wood.
That's great. So here's what you do. You buy a Lotus Esprit of your own, and then your dashboard can be whatever sort of wood you want. I honestly think that wood dashboard was done custom. Because if you notice, the middle of that looks like it had a cutout that was never cut out. So for some reason, that is not factory.
Or you just you didn't quite afford the top trim level,
Which had like a clock in the middle or something?
or an altimeter.
An altimeter, yes. So this is a 5-speed manual transmission. Go ahead and try to find a gear, Jared.
All right, we will. So we are in gear currently.
What, do you know which gear?
I believe second, but I could also we can visit fourth.
It's just a lateral move to fourth, right?
5. Oh, we're coming back down. We can't quite visit 3 or 1. There
Okay.
we go. So now let's go.
Which one is that?
It should be going into fourth, but it's kind of like.
That's like 11th.
Oh, okay. So that over and up for 5. So 4, 3.
That's a confidence-inspiring gear lever.
Well, now we're like trying to find 2, but we're visiting reverse.
Okay.
So yeah, some looseness in your shifter.
Right.
It happens as you get older.
This is a 2.2 liter 910S engine. It's a 4-cylinder, and it makes a decent amount of power, especially for in the 90s. It made 264 horsepower, and with this guy, the charge cooler, it had an overboost function, which gave you 280 horsepower. That is a lot.
Well, considering the number of V8s in 1990 that couldn't make that much power,
That's
like,
true.
Like this, again, it's a legitimate supercar of its era.
Yeah, so we already went over, kind of gushing over this car and why it's so cool. But there are a few things wrong with this engine, and let's just go over just point out stuff that you see that's wrong, Jared.
One, it doesn't run.
Is that something wrong? Is that generally something that's wrong?
Yeah, that's the big thing that's wrong. So let's go and we'll get nitpicky. Well, one, it doesn't have stock fuel injectors, but that's an upgrade.
That's not wrong. That's right. That's very right.
We have a AutoZone or other cheap parts store heat shielding with the fancy AN hose clamps. Don't do that.
Why not? Why wouldn't people do this?
Because that's questionable even for me.
Okay. Right.
It's too far. Oxygen sensor placement, that may be factory, but you generally need to have 6 to 8 inches from your sensor to the exit of your exhaust off the turbine. Otherwise, they're not going to live very long.
Yeah, ask any woman. 6 to 8 inches is just ideal.
Yeah.
So,
your wastegate is missing its pin, so let's see if I can do it. No, not quite, but this could just fall off at any given moment, which is a problem.
well, not really, because it just makes more boost.
Well, no, it would make no boost.
It would make more boost.
No, it's an internal gate, so when it's flapping in the wind and not held closed.
So, I have watched a documentary called Fast and Furious, and they said,
No, that's when your floor falls out. You make more boost.
I've just learned something.
That's why every time you own an Eclipse, you need to have the removable floor. If your floor doesn't come out, you're not going to go fast.
I own an Eclipse.
We have this. That's not how you start the car.
No.
That is the intercooler pump. So our overboost wouldn't be very effective.
That almost looks aftermarket.
So I don't know if it's aftermarket or an aftermarket replacement of a factory part. It's kind of hard to say because you would need some type of pump to move the coolant. So
Okay.
we're learning about Lodi,
Lodi?
the plural of Lotus.
Lodi is a city in New Jersey. You don't want to go there. So
Hose clamps are just wrong everywhere, but
that's fine. So this is a little alarming that the timing belt is just here out in the elements. There's no cover at all. And can you give that timing belt a little snap? Yep.
she's a little wiggly.
She's a little wiggly. And that's actually one of the reasons why this car was so cheap and why it sat for so long, because the previous owner said that he spun the car out. No surprise there.
Well, you can tell by the bodywork that is a true statement.
Yes. And he said that the engine jumped time, which means that the timing belt, the crank, and the cams went out of time and the engine stopped running. Now, a few things can happen when that happens. What are those few things, Jared?
If you are lucky and you have a non-interference engine, meaning bad things don't happen when it goes out of time, you tow it into a repair shop, you tow it home, you put a new belt on it, and you're happy. If you have a engine like this, which is interference, when things get out of time, the intake and exhaust valves introduce themselves very violently to the pistons, and there's lots of domestic disputes and expensive engine damage.
Okay, so right now what I think we should do, before going underneath the car, let's pull a spark plug or two and then use the Boroscope and just see what's in the cylinders.
See if it looks like the... So the reason we'll do that is you can see a valve impression. It'll look... you'll be able to tell if a piston attempted to hit a valve. So that's step one, and then we'll discover what's underneath and what's wrong underneath. Are we ready to stick it in?
I'm rolling.
Oh.
So how are the plugs?
So they're dirty, but what's encouraging is if you have severe contact and break a valve off, that's a part that's obviously going to be bouncing inside the combustion chamber, and it's going to break a spark plug and damage us heavily, and there's no physical damage to any of these spark plugs. So that's a positive sign. It's not a guarantee, but it's at least not an instant game over that something bad has happened. All right, so this piston is towards the top, which means it's hard to look around. We see what appears to be an intake valve partway open. Oh, let's pull back up. So we see the shadow just barely. Can I get this spun? Yeah, okay. So both intake valves are open about the same. You can see it a little better right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that just could be that cam is on that stroke, but the piston still had plenty of carbon on it, which means it likely didn't hit.
If we see all the intake valves open, then that's a problem.
So now we'll come down here, and you see how the carbon is spotty, but we don't see a crescent.
Mm-hmm.
So the valve is going to make a crescent shape, kind of a half moon, and we don't see that on this. Come on, back in. Oh, there's that a little bit of one there. It's hard to tell if that's detonation in the carbon or...
I don't know. It doesn't seem very...
No, that's wrong position. And on the intake, as deep as these reliefs are, I know they say it's interference, but you can kind of see that dark shadow. So that looks like your valve relief.
Or do you think that a valve fell in and then just made all that...
Well, not because it would still be there. This has not been taken apart. Let's try to knock leaves into there. Okay, that is just a ton of carbon.
That is a lot of carbon.
This is an old engine running a really old computer. Don't see.
Come on, let's open push.
So, looking here.
The intake valve should also...
No, this would be exhaust.
Exhaust valve.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And we may just not be able to see them, but I don't see any marks on the piston. So, that means we want to go ahead and pick it up, and let's try to get a look at that timing belt, because this is looking encouraging.
Yeah, it doesn't
Very
look,
encouraging.
It doesn't look super
so,
booked, yeah.
Again, there's buildup and things you'd expect on an older fuel-injected engine, but you would be able to, if you were looking at this on an engine you would see brand new aluminum in like this perfect half-moon shape from where that valve hit.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't
like
see
a
that.
little frowny face.
Yeah, or happy.
You're not. It's not.
No, it's not. It's happy for your mechanic if you don't do this yourself. Which, we may be in a good spot right here.
Okay, let's get this car up and see what we have. Jared's setting up the lights here, but I just wanted to call attention to the bumper. First off, if we come back here, the bumper is so prominent now and next to the other cars, it just looks like a right hunk of crap. So take a look at it.
Beautiful, beautiful Lotus.
Oh, this is just perfect. Why would you ever do this? Now, if this is a DIY and a person has never done it before, I'm not going to rag on them too much, but this is just kind of funny. What's good is that this all bolts on, and this lower valence, you can change it out for the S4 version, which is a little bit more rounded off, and I think it looks a little bit better. So I think I'll probably end up doing that. I'll probably end up getting a new front bumper as well, just because there's some nasty drywall whatever on there as well. But coming back here, this is a giant air duct that goes into, like, what's in there?
You have your radiator here. And duct, not duck. It doesn't quack.
Yeah, I said duct.
I know. I was trying to be funny. Thank you.
It can quack, actually.
And turning around, this cooling fan. I should just be able to kind of do that. And
yeah, cooling fan's not great.
And Freddie was like, "Oh, it's got 3." Well,
at least one works. Yeah.
One kind of does its thing. So
God has fitted us with 2 spares. So we have oil coolers over here. No, wait, that's not an oil cooler, is it? No, I don't know. I can't tell. It just looks like mesh.
It is AC. Oh no, that's an oil cooler.
Okay.
There is an oil cooler there. Nifty.
Nice.
So we have some cooling. I like that the sway bar here, 1 is small, and 2 is literally just a rod that slides into a round bushing. Like if you come to the back and look forward, it just slips in.
Yeah.
Then brakes, we were talking about what's wrong. They are locked up. Well, they come and go. Sometimes they are very, very stiff, and sometimes it rolls very well. And they're also kind of small.
Yep, they are very small, and the rears are non-vented, which is very interesting on a performance car. But take a look at this. So this is the backbone of the car. This is the spine of the car, and this is honestly the only piece of metal in the car, because if anybody knows like what a DeLorean looks like, this shares the same sort of frame with a DeLorean. It makes a Y up here, and then it goes down this kind of narrow hallway, and then it makes a Y again, and then it has all the motor and stuff back here. But okay, she's a little leaky.
She's a little wet. Has a very petite looking transmission. These are known for their strength. And
the opposite of that.
No,
the opposite.
They have one very great strength, and that is their ability to blow up.
Yes.
So
they are literally made of glass, and when I say literally, I mean figuratively. But they are not great. So this is the Renault, either the Renault or the Citroen transmission. Neither of them were very good, but we might have some solutions for this. Maybe we change the transaxle, or we just get something, we just upgrade this transaxle. Yeah. And it's interesting because there's like a split in the seam right here. So it looks like 2 halves go together, and then it bolts on to this, which is the bell housing. Now,
why did they pick that transmission?
Because that's all they had.
There's the only thing that would fit.
Yes, it's the only thing that would fit, and also that's all. I mean, this is Lotus in the 70s, so they're like, listen, man, we got to put a car together. We don't have any parts.
Well, that, and a big part of it was they kind of just like designed a car, and they're like, okay, what can we fit in the physical dimensions we've designed?
Yes.
Looking up is the turbo manifold, which is a beautiful. That's a cast iron piece, and it's beautiful.
It is kind of nice. I mean, if you take a look, it goes from all 4 runners, just like this kind of log-ish manifold, and it goes into the turbo right there, and then that turbo, that's the oil return line, and that goes back into the oil pan. So it's very similar to, a Turbo Civic or something.
Yeah.
It's
just that cast manifold you can get, and they work fantastic, and it's going to be reliable. And
well, this one doesn't look like it has any cracks in it. A lot of times, the Ferraris of this age are going to have cracks in the manifold. This one looks pretty good. The exhaust looks stock to me. It has a big old cat right there, big old catalytic converter, and then it has this valve. What does that say?
Cheswick silencers.
Cheswick silencer.
So it's probably stock, because that sounds like a very like Lotus suffix, you know.
This might, I mean, this might actually be an aftermarket thing to silence the car. But what I'm thinking is, dude, we just make this straight out. That's gonna make this thing sing. Okay, enough about that. Let's.
So I think that's we were trying to cover everything wrong. There's a couple random connectors we don't know what they do. We'll find out.
So you have already put a socket onto the crank pulley, which is up here.
But we're gonna pop the shield so we can turn it better and you can see what we're doing. So
okay, so let's pop that shield.
Let's do that real quick. All right.
Yep, there you go.
You forget.
This is a 2-person job, but yeah, you're
Are
two
you taking
people.
Pyrrha's job?
Is that what she is?
Yeah.
Is she a shop supervisor?
Yeah. We need to work on the black and white because her eyes are a little scary.
Her eyes are not scary. I like that shirt. You can get this shirt at our bunker branding page. Link in the description below.
You know what'll be nice about being back at Site B? I'll have the real Pyrrha.
Oh, yeah.
You're not as cute as Pyrrha. I'm sorry, Freddie.
How dare you?
So now you have the ability to see what we're trying to show you. So Lotus runs an exposed timing belt. This is your timing belt. So that's your timing belt, and that is what keeps your crank, your injection pump on this motor, and your cams turning at the same rate. A lot of people will say, why do you switch from timing change? Belts are stronger. Belts are a lot stronger than a timing chain, but they require service. That's their downside.
Belts are stronger than a timing chain?
Yes.
I'm going to have to
press X
to doubt on that one.
Well, keep pressing because it's true. The belt is a stronger...
Except for the fact that the belt snapped.
This is a unique case.
But the belts snap if you keep using them, where timing chains stretch.
And break.
But they... Okay. I have an entire set of engines over there with timing chains with belts that are perfectly fine. However...
Belts or chains?
Chains. I don't know what I just said. But I'm on team chain. I don't know what you're talking about. Belts are... No.
If you look at some of the monster big block stuff, they go to belts, not chains.
And they also run for 10 seconds at a time.
Right. We're talking about strength.
Right, but I'm also talking about strength over time.
You didn't say that. We were talking about strength, not endurance.
No, you're talking about...
At any rate.
Talking about something completely different. How dare you? Nissan uses timing chains.
And belts. They use both.
No.
When I turn this pulley, that belt should turn.
Ah.
And it didn't. Now, we don't want to go too crazy
Let's try that one again. Let's try... Because that's kind of funny.
And...
Okay.
So, nothing's happening. So what's likely happened is your belt has ridged, like, rectangles on it, your teeth, and the teeth that belong, or it's making contact, don't exist anymore, is my guess.
Okay.
So we need to replace it either way to find out if the engine runs. Let's cut it off.
Yeah, let's cut it off.
So we'll cut it off and see. We know, and once we cut it, it doesn't matter because we just don't want to turn the cams until we carefully rephase everything to top dead center.
Also, I don't know what kind of belt you can just, what kind of chain you can just cut off with like an X-Acto knife or something. So that's why chains are better.
Go into any machine shop and you're gonna...
I'm stopping the record. Okay, so we just found something that is kind of interesting. So this is a, looks like a duct for something. Maybe for brakes or something. I don't know. But it looks like it was PVC plumber's pipe and it was just fiberglassed into the body, which is very, very realistic for this this type of car. This is insane. This is like a kit car, dude. Like, this is actually a kit car.
How dare you? This is Lotus. Built by the finest blokes. All right, so let's get up there and cut. Yeah, There we go. And, oh yeah. Turns out, there's no teeth.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little bit smooth there.
Yeah.
So.
Where'd her teeth go? So
it's missing a lot of teeth.
Well, there's your problem.
Yeah. So, engine technically didn't jump time. It just stripped all his teeth off.
Yeah, it went backwards, real bad.
So, what I think we need
pull,
to do.
Yeah, we pull that timing belt, and then we put a new timing belt on there. Time it. See if it starts.
So, I'm going to cut the rest of the belts, and you're going to order some parts.
I don't think the auto parts store is going to have Lotus.
Hey, I already looked. I got ANSI. They have the belt. Mm-hmm. And a timing belt's only $18.
That's too much for this car.
Unfortunately...
What, I made of money? Like $18? What the...
Unfortunately, the idler and the other 3 belts are not as quick to get. So we're going to have to order those.
Yeah, so that's going to take a little bit of time, so we can do that in the next episode. So that is that. We're going to start taking this apart a little bit more. And let's get out from under... Let's get out from under the car. I want to show these people. Hey, what do you... Stop! So I'm really, really excited to get to work on this. What is the percentage that you think will have success with this in firing it up after we get that timing belt on?
So I am going to vocally say a different percentage than what I really think, because if I vocalize what I think...
Are you a politician?
It's not going to work.
Are you a politician?
So
okay.
It's a 31% chance that it starts, but the internal chance is 98.
So we're gonna split that in the middle, and it's gonna be 98. Okay, so that's gonna be it. And how do you usually do these?
I'm Jared, reminding you to always make questionable choices and
buy this shirt, please. Buy it. It helps us do projects like this. Buy it. It's really cool, and it helps little doggies. Bye bye.